Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin Conway. Today we're going to be discussing the latest with the stimulus check and stimulus package updates as of today, February 1st, 2021. It's amazing that it's already 2021. Anyway, the Republicans released the text of their proposal just this morning, and we're going to be going through that in detail, telling you what they said about stimulus checks, stimulus check eligibility, unemployment insurance, and everything else in the stimulus package. We're going to go over this, and this is a very important bill, as I'm going to explain a little bit later, because I think it has a good chance of becoming law, even though the Republicans are in the minority in the Senate, and I'll explain why. With that being said, my name is Kevin Conway. I make stimulus news update videos and other personal finance videos all the time. So if you want to stay informed with the latest and breaking stimulus news, I suggest that you subscribe to the channel. And please, if everyone can give a like to this video and spread the word by helping the channel out, I'd greatly appreciate it. With that being said, let's get right into the very latest with the Republican stimulus bill proposal. So here's what we know so far. As reported from the Wall Street Journal, the Republican proposal is $618 billion as compared to Joe Biden's proposal of $1.9 trillion. So significantly smaller because Republicans wanted to keep the overall cost down, worried about the growing federal debt. The reason why this bill has a good chance of actually making it through and becoming law is because of something called reconciliation. We've mentioned it many times, but here's basically what it is. It's a special tool that is in the Democrats' playbook that they could use when they control the Senate to pass bills on a simple majority. But the problem with using reconciliation is you only could use it a few times, and they want to save it for later bills on infrastructure, green energy, those sorts of things. And when you pass a bill via reconciliation, you cannot pass things like $15 an hour minimum wage because it has to be very tailored to the budget impact of the bill. It has to basically change the budget of the bill itself. It can't be something policy related that's not related to money and cents. It's kind of obscure, and there's not a whole lot of reasons we need to talk about it other than saying the Democrats want to keep that in their toolbox for later on, which is why this bill proposed by 10 Republican senators is so important, because 10 senators would push them to the 60 vote limit that they need to pass a stimulus bill. 10 senators plus all the Democrats would be 60. That's why it is so very important that we know what these senators say. Also, these senators are known as the moderate Republicans and people with a lot of power, such as Mitt Romney, former presidential candidate, Lisa Murkowski, and several other people like that. So what is exactly in this Republican plan? Well, let's go through it. First things first, stimulus checks. The stimulus checks are in this plan, but they are not $1,400. They are $1,000. Not $1,000, but it gets even worse from there. There is an income phase-off, which is lower than what Joe Biden had in his plan, and that's to be expected because we've heard that for weeks now. So what exactly is the income cutoff? Well, the income cutoff is $40,000 for individuals and $80,000 for married couples filing jointly, and it phases out entirely at $50,000 and $100,000 respectively. So what does that mean? If you are somebody who is earning below $40,000, you're going to get that full $1,000. But if you're somebody who, for example, made $75,000 last year, you would have gotten the stimulus check on the first round, the second round, and the Joe Biden round, but not here. You would not be eligible for a stimulus check here. We have lower income cutoffs. This is something we've heard about for a while from senators, from Joe Manchin on the Democrat side to many Republicans saying we don't want to give money into the hands of people that don't need it. They're citing studies to say those who made over 78 grand a year spent basically none of their stimulus check and saved it all instead. So that's what we have for the income cutoffs. We also know that children and adult dependents would be included in this bill. So that's good news. But the bad news is they would be included only to the tune of $500 per dependent child or adult, meaning you would not get the full $1,000, you'd get only $500. So let's make an example. For example, there's a married couple, two people, and they have a dependent child over the age of 18, say someone in college, and a child below the age of 18. Well, they would get $1,000 for each parent, plus $500 for each child, assuming they're below that income cutoff. So as you can see, it's significantly less than the Democratic plan. But that's what we know right now. The total cost of the stimulus checks is estimated in this bill to be about $218 billion. roughly half of what the Democrats had proposed. What else is in this Republican bill? We know that unemployment insurance extension is in this bill. We weren't sure how much or for how long. We thought it would be $300. We have confirmation the unemployment insurance extension from the federal government would be $300. And it looks like that'll include PUA and PEUC as well in this all the way until June of this year. We know it'll be extended till June of this year if this bill is passed. That $300 boost was widely popular, but it's unlike the $400 boost Joe Biden wanted in his plan. I think this one sticks. I think $300 is something that was already agreed to in the last stimulus bill, and it'll carry forward. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you think it should be $300, $600 like last time, and how you feel so far about the stimulus checks. I really want to hear. What else is in this bill? We know $20 billion is for childcare and schools. This is to have protective equipment at schools and to assist with childcare. Now, this is interesting because the child tax credit Joe Biden wanted in his bill is not in this plan. The $3,000 or $3,600 if your child is under 5 is not in this bill, and we see money for childcare instead explicitly given as money instead of a tax credit. That's kind of an interesting quirk. What are some other good things out here if you want to have some extra money, extra stimulus money? Well, we have $50 billion for small businesses. The small business relief is in the PPP program and the EIDL grant program as well. Two programs that you should apply for right now. I've made many videos on. Please go check those out if you want to know how to apply, or if you applied before, if you're eligible to receive the money. It's very important. This is great money. It could be $10,000 or more. Terrific. We have $50 billion for those programs. This is excellent because the latest round of stimulus funding funded the EIDL grant program of $10,000 per business that you have. They funded that with $25 billion extra money. And like we talked about previously, I think in the coming weeks that'll be open to the public. As of right now, it's closed down and only available to those who applied to the EIDL program previously. But we have $50 billion extra for this program here. Now, what else? We have $160 billion for vaccine distribution and development. This is what it sounds like. They want to open the economy, get everybody vaccinated and going on. So what is not included in this bill? What is not included in the Republican proposal to Joe Biden? And they're meeting with Joe Biden later on this afternoon, so we'll see exactly what comes out of it. I'll be making a follow-up video. That's why you want to subscribe. What is not in this video? What is not in this video? What is not in this bill? We know that state and local government funding is not in this bill. That is a big Democratic priority. And $15 an hour minimum wage is also not in this bill. The latter is not actually that surprising, $15 an hour minimum wage, because I think that just dies by the wayside anyway. The only way they pass a bill with Republican support is without the $15 an hour federal minimum wage. And if they want to pass it without Republican support, we know they'll have to do it via reconciliation, which means $15 an hour minimum wage will not be included for the reasons I explained earlier in the video. So we know $15 an hour minimum wage is 99% sure not going to happen. State and local government funding, is actually quite interesting because we know a lot of state and local governments are reeling right now. They don't have tax revenues like they did before. So it's interesting to see it's not included. But again, this kind of harkens back to the Republican point that they don't want to be perceived as bailing out states that are so-called blue states that are not Republican, rather, and that have big pension liabilities and whatnot. They don't want to be seen as taking money from red states and giving it to blue states. Whether or not that's fair, that's their point. That's why they don't want to have state and local governments. So we know that the Biden meeting will happen later on today, and that's going to be interesting to see what happens out of that meeting. And just to compare the two plans, just very simply, married couple with 2 kids, they would get $3,000 under the GOP plan. Again, $1,000 per adult plus $500 per child. That's 2 children times 2. And under the Democratic plan, the Joe Biden plan, they would get $5,600. So the big difference between the two is evident. You can see the total price tag is more than $1 trillion less than the Joe Biden plan. We are pretty far away, but I expect a stimulus bill to pass nonetheless. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. That was your quick update for this morning. We're going to have a lot more later on. We're going to have a lot more details. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the comments below. If you want to know what's going on with GameStop, I made a whole video on what the heck is going on with GameStop so you can understand the short squeeze and everything else. With that being said, my name is Kevin Conway, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.